What's up, guys? So we're back yet again. We're going to be talking about Swap, the new Netflix movie, which apparently has been making rounds online. A lot of people have been saying, "Hey, check this movie out! Check this movie out!" So I did, and it stars Michael B. Jordan, Cedric the Entertainer, Tracy Morgan, and Juno Temple, I believe. So the entirety of this movie is Michael B. Jordan plays Ollie, who is a I want to say like a squirrel or a something. I can't think of the right name. It's a very small creature, and what happens is he's on this island, and his family tells him to never trust another species, pretty much. And they go into the whole thing of there was a creature by the name of a fire wolf that got rid of all the other species in the area because of it being selfish. And when Ollie was younger, he unfortunately did something. He showed another species how to get these nuts or whatever that was in a plant. And when he did that, he thought, okay, it's a good thing, like kind of help someone out. Well, unfortunately, that did not help, because this other species called out to her own and ate everything. So that made it very scarce on their territory, and they continually had to fight to be able to get any food, and they're really running very low on food. And when Ollie tries to come up with an idea to, like, okay, well, maybe if I do this to scare off these birds, then maybe it'll work. Well, he does that, and unfortunately he falls into a pit, and he transforms into the very thing that he's been scared of. And when this happens, he meets the character Ivy, who she is more has a relationship with him than he realized, because we later find out that this is the same bird that he helped when they were kids, and he actually helped her find a way to not only have food for her and her sisters and her family, but also for her species, because they were running hungry as well, and there wouldn't be more now. And they slowly, go back and forth, and he's still trying to get used to what he is and tries to find a way, because it's these orbs. If you say a particular phrase, then you'll turn into that creature. And then they meet this fish who is played by Tracy Morgan, and he says, oh, well, I know about this, so why don't you go do this? And then Ivy goes, and she gets transformed into what Ollie was, and they have to work together to be able to find more, so that way they can be themselves. Well, they go on this journey, and they are able to find more, but then they become a fish, like Tracy Morgan's character, and then he has to help them find more of these orbs. And they're having to go up against, these tree, not tree, but more like tree wolves or whatever. And then they go up against these mountain bears as well. And when they find more orbs, they say what initially they are, and they transform back. And they look at, Tracy Morgan's character, and they're like, hey, what do you want to be? Do you want to be one of us, or do you want to be whatever? And I gotta give it to Tracy Morgan, and this is the reason why. He goes Firewolf, and he transforms into the Firewolf, because that's initially what he was. Because we find out that his character was the main villain, but he was transformed into this fish as a punishment by the ones who created the orbs, because he destroyed the valley, and that was his punishment, because he was kicked out of his pack because he was the youngest. Nobody else wanted anything to do with him, so he was just going to burn the valley to the ground. And again, I'm not the biggest fan of Tracy Morgan, but I gotta give credit where credit is due, because he was very, like, oh, okay, he's the silly, stupid, whatever character like Tracy Morgan always plays as, but then he became a vicious villain, and Ollie tries to figure out, okay, what the hell's going on, what do we do? And he just was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And what happens is that they have no choice but to work together with the ones in the valley and be able to help them and everything of that nature. So what happens is between Ollie and Ivy, they have to help each other, and when they do, they get all the animals together, and even Ollie tells his parents, yes, I'm alive, and this is my friend Ivy, she's not the enemy, this is what happened. And so Ollie goes to where he was initially first transformed, and then he becomes basically the ones that created the orbs. And when he does that, he actually is able to fight off the fire wolf, and he's actually able to save the valley, but possibly at the cost of his own life. And when he does that, he's like, oh my gosh, okay. And Ivy, she's so scared of, like, oh my God, is he okay? Is he alive? And she almost thinks, okay, is he gone? And he does survive. He comes back, and he becomes himself again, because that particular species was able to find him and able to help him, because they figured out, hey, Ollie is one of those, he's one of the good ones, like he was able to help our species because there was a dam, and he was able to release the water that was blocking the path to the dam, and then he was able to do all this and that. So initially the way it ends is that Ollie pretty much is the savior to the valley, and all the species start working together, because even the tree wolves help, because Ollie helped save their the leader's son, and then they're helping like the forest bears, they're helping the ones that look like deer. So they all work together, and they all kind of started their own communities, because Ollie was able to bring them all together, even though he was a very small, timid, shy, scared thing. He was able to show, like, hey, they're not different from us, because they're trying to survive too. And that's the reason why he did this, was because he started realizing that Ivy did not mean to do this, when they were kids, and she even apologized to him at some point in the movie. So I think it's one of those movies that Netflix actually does well on. It was funny, had a good story, it was entertaining, and it was fun. So again, if you guys have never seen this yet, definitely check this out. It was a good movie. The animation was very beautiful, the vibrant colors, and also the way that they shot it, and the voice acting was really good too. So I enjoyed the movie, but it'll probably be a one and done for me, because sometimes animation movies do that. But overall, I think it was a good movie. I think if your kids want to watch it, let them watch it. If you're a little older and you want something to watch it, give it a shot. I mean, it's on there for a reason, for everybody to enjoy. So let me know if you guys seen Swapped. I think it was a good film. Was it probably the best film? No, but it was still a good film. I mean, out of my opinion. But overall, what did you guys think about it? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you as always on the next one.